I'd like to talk about mind check and what I mean by that. But before we jump into that, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, you're very, very welcome. So mind check. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is I've done similar videos. And the reason why I'm doing this one is I still find when I'm talking to people that I can hear things, negative things that they are saying almost out loud that they probably are saying to themselves. Things such as, oh, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to be here. And oh, what difference can I make? It's all these negative little messages that, your mind, because your brain has a mind of its own, says to you, and you are then saying it to yourself. You're not questioning it. That's why I really wanted to do this video. Mind check. Now, we need to get into the habit of when a thought comes into our head, to hold it, to just analyze it. What is that thought? Where has that thought come from? If it's a negative thought, where has it come from? If it's a negative thought, hold on to it. Is there evidence? So when your head is saying something to you, when your mind is saying something to you, to the effect of, such as, oh, what difference could you make? You're just you. What difference could you make? I'd like you to hold on to that and think, well, okay, where has this come from? It's a lot of doubting, isn't it? You're not good enough. What difference could you make? You're insignificant. You're saying so many things. It could be even saying you're a waste of space. You're not. You're worthless, perhaps. This, and I might be reading more into it than that, but it could be saying all these things, couldn't it? What difference could you make? And it's a tone as well. If you were, can you imagine saying that to your best friend or to a relative or to a loved one? What difference could you make? Or you could say, what difference could you make? So it really depends on the tone. Meaning, if you're saying, what difference could you make, is look at all the things that you can offer, and you could bring those to the forefront, and you could bring those to the table. You could offer so much. But if I was to say, what difference could you make? It's a negative thing, isn't it? That you can't actually make a difference. You are insignificant. You're worthless. You're this, you're that. It could be saying so many negative things. I think it's quite important to stop with your thoughts, to think about them, to think about your thoughts. And it's not something that we're really used to doing. If you're struggling, if you feel that you might be struggling with that or might find that hard to do, I would suggest you write them down. If you have said to yourself, what's the point in me doing that, because I probably won't get anywhere with it anyway. Okay? Let's say if you're looking for a job and you hear about a job, or you think that there's an organization that is looking for someone, and you think, well, yeah, but they won't be looking for someone like me. What have I got to offer? You've already rejected yourself, so how is anyone else going to accept you? Does that make sense? But if you went in with an open mind of, okay, there's that job that, yeah, maybe I'd be the person for that, because, I can offer so much of that. I mean, I've got the right sort of personality, I've got this, I've got that, and all your attributes that you have, those come to the forefront, then that is the way you're going to go into that when you make that phone call. You're not going to make that phone call and say, oh, I might not be right for the job because actually I'm not really that good at talking to people. I'm not really that good at, but you might be good at other things. You might be good at organizing things. And so go on to the things that you are good at. Don't list the things that you're not so good at. And again, it's your opinion. And if if you're the kind of person that says negative things to yourself, then you probably haven't even picked up on all the things that you are good at, and the things that you think you're not good at, you might have you might be wrong on that. You might be completely wrong on that, because when people get into the habit of saying negative things to themselves and hearing those negative things about themselves, they start believing it. So I've talked about this before, I've talked in videos before, and I've said, say positive things to yourself in the morning. So write down the positive things about yourself. I'm good at communicating, I'm good at connecting with people, I'm very empathetic, I can be very compassionate, I'm quite good at including people in, I'm a good listener. So all these things that you believe that you're good at, you should write them down, and sometimes you should say them to yourself in the mirror. And you might think, oh, that sounds really ridiculous. And it does a little bit. And when you first do it, you might think, what am I doing? But it's a little bit similar to, talking to my phone like this. I'm talking to my phone, but I'm not visualizing my phone. I'm visualizing my audience. I'm visualizing you out there that's listening to me talking. That's who I am visualizing. And you might think, well, how can you visualize me when you don't know me? Well, I don't. We can get to know each other, through communication and comments and messaging each other. We can get to know each other, but I still have an audience in my mind that's listening. Who is this video for? Who is this content for? Who am I aiming it to? Well, I'm aiming it to people similar to myself, who experience things similar to myself, like loss, bereavement, grief, but also mental health struggles, because that's my work. That's my field. That's what I've trained in. Okay, so. And that's what I'm passionate about. More than anything, I haven't just trained in these things. And obviously losing my son means that I have experienced loss and I am grieving. So that, means, and I've, studied about grief as well to a certain extent. So, so there's things that I'm talking about things that I'm passionate about. So it's quite useful if we list all the things that we're good at and we say them back to ourselves, so that we then change. And it's neuroplasticity, which I find it quite, I said it today, but sometimes I can't say it, my teeth get in the way. Neuroplasticity, now I can't say it for the second time. Neuroplasticity. Yeah, it's when your neural pathways change, and you change those by changing what you are believing in, what you believe in, and what you say to yourself. So if you keep saying to yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not good, enough to do this, I can't do this, I can't do that, then that is really what you're going to believe is the truth. If you, on the other hand, say positive things to yourself, that this is what I'm good at, this is what I can offer the world, this is what I can bring to the table, this is my opinion in this, and this is what I believe in, and I think it's a good thing because it worked for me, so hopefully it can work for you. When we bring things like that, we are then sharing those things, and we are changing the neural pathways again. Yeah, I'm not going to try saying it again because it'll probably come out again wrong. But yeah, I said it right for the first time. So it's all about changing those neural pathways into a different way of thinking and believing. And we can do that with practice. Okay. So mind check is very much about what's going on up here and checking in on. And I do that first thing in the morning. When I wake up, I might do a little bit of prayer, I might do some meditation, I do breath work, and I do other exercises which I've shared as well. I've started doing wall Pilates, which is actually quite good. I'm doing it every morning. Just 15 minutes, but 15 minutes every morning, which is proving to be quite good. And I'll also do mind check, which is, for me, where am I at today? How am I doing today? How am I feeling today? Am I struggling with anything? And if I am struggling with something, what can I put into place to help with that struggle? Or if I'm just I'm feeling okay today, I've got, I've got these things that I need to be getting done today. I've got a little list, and I will hopefully work through those things. And today is one of those days. I had X, Y, Z things listed, and I'm getting through them. So yeah, when I'm getting through the things that I've decided or scheduled for me to do, that makes me feel better. Sometimes when I don't do those things, I think, well, okay, I need to just give myself a break. Maybe I'm just expecting too much of myself, and I can have a day where I can just be a bit lazy and I don't really want to do anything today. That's okay too. So I'm not saying that you can't have those days. It's when you feel like that day in, day out, what's the point today? What's the point in doing this? It doesn't, when you lose all sort of hope for the future, or you don't have any ambition to do anything, that's really where we're talking about we need to put things into place to help with our minds. Again, if our minds are saying negative things to us, or we have no motivation, we really need to have a check-in in our stress levels and in our mental health generally and what's happening. And maybe you can put other things into place. Maybe you need to think about exercise. Maybe you need to think about improving your diet perhaps, or getting some fresh air, or getting some sunshine, being out, getting some vitamin D, doing things that give you joy, that help you feed your heart and soul, well, feed your soul anyway. And that could be, going for a walk, going for a meal with a friend, someone that you enjoy talking to, or, someone who you think listens to you well, and putting things into place that, that will help you. And having that mind check in the morning will mean that you can put things into place before things get really bad. If we're talking about, our stress levels, I've talked about that in other videos about stress container. If we don't think about our stress and it sort of piles up, mounts up, it starts overflowing. And if it starts overflowing, we can be struggling, we can be in trouble. And it's putting things into place to help with our mental health, our stress levels, our struggles, whatever it is, before we get to that kind of crisis point, or to a point where we need professional help. And sometimes we can reach for professional help before we feel that we really need it, like talking therapy, because talking is really, really important, and we need someone to listen to. So we might be thinking, oh well, I could talk to someone, but I don't have anyone to talk to. So that might be when you reach out and say, well, I maybe need some, a therapist, talking therapy. I maybe need something like that, whether it's via phone or face to face. But it might be something that you might reach out for and access, and that's okay. That's not a failure. It's just, I need a little bit something more right now to just help me get through. It shows a sign of strength. It shows a sign of, that you are, checking in your mind, and you are looking after it, nurturing it, helping it. Just like we help and look after ourselves physically, we need to look after ourselves mentally too. It's as important. They're both as important as each other, but we tend to give a lot of attention to our physical health, where we think, oh yeah, we need to get more exercise and go to the gym and do this and do that, but we don't check in on here. So I think it's really, really important to do that. Okay, so to mind check. I hope you found the content of this video helpful. If you did, please do like, subscribe. If you feel that it might help someone else, please do share it. Thank you to those of you who have already subscribed. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for that. But we need many more, so please do subscribe if you do. If you have come across this video and you found it helpful, that would be great. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and souls.